Hey guys. Okay, well, I was going to do this outside, but it looks like it's going to rain, and sure as heck, the minute I get out there, that'll happen. So I am doing an Ask Me Anything. I know it's been a long time since I've done it, and I really enjoy doing it because I get lots of great questions. And so tonight, I just want to hold it out there that literally, you're free to ask me about any topic. And if you happen to catch this after after I go live, just ask the question and I'll answer it, in the feed. So don't hesitate to do that. Now, I think I'm going live in 3 channels. This is kind of cool. I did this last night. I talked about how to keep your tenants in your assets when you're when you're dealing with a contraction or a crash. But I got some questions that were submitted prior to us starting. But when you get a question, if you've got a question, hey, Say No's, cool name. If you've got a question, throw it in the chat. But I'm going to answer some of the questions that I got prior to us starting. So I got one from Savion Miller, which was the importance of understanding your prepayment penalty. Now, prepayment penalty in the multifamily spaces in the commercial world can be called defeasance, and now I just had a complete brain fart. What else it's called? Anyway, bottom line is it's critical that you understand it, because if you're not aware of what's happening as it relates to your prepayment penalty, and you want to refinance or sell, you're going to have a big problem. You're going to have a real wake-up call, particularly if you're dealing with conforming loans, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, non-recourse debt, because their prepayment penalties are significant. So, but now you are able to buy them down, and they have what's called a step-down prepayment, where it'll be high, and then it'll go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 over years. It's called yield maintenance. That's the other term that it's called. Yield maintenance and defeasance is what in the commercial world of real estate. Prepayment penalties are called. All right, another question from Savion was, besides online, what are some other ways you can make sure your underwriting is accurate? Well, listen, you should ideally get in a team, and like in my mentorship program, we have groups of people that get together and do underwriting together. But you should get aligned with people that are doing this so they can check it. And this last question of his was, would I consider a floating interest rate? I would not, even though the Fed has said they're going to keep the interest rates down. But I will tell you, when things start getting ugly, then it's very common. It's very common for the cap rates and the interest rates to go up. Let's see. Aaron Page actually asked a question about the minimum cap rate that we're buying at right now, and that's really not a metric that we're using today in this market cycle. What we look at, and our biggest parameter, is our cash on cash. Well, our returns really, our cash on cash and our IRR. Now, our minimum cash on cash return is 10% annualized over 5 years. So, if we're doing a reposition, it might be 6 or 7% the first year, 8 or 9 the second year, but then it'll go 11, 12, 13, 14, so that it averages for 10% over the 5-year period. Now, keep in mind, this is also with low leverage, high operating reserves. We just closed on an asset in Cincinnati. It was 282 doors or 280 doors, and we have $1 million in reserve just in case. And still are able to get those returns. So, and we can be 65% occupied and still break even there. So, these are the kinds of things, we're very, very conservative right now. So cap rate is not our big thing. It's really more about returns. Patrick asked, will 100,000 be enough to get started in syndication for multifamily? Sure. Now, depending upon whether or not you're accredited, if you make 200,000 a year, you can get in a 506C. But if you're not, then you'll have to get in a 506B syndication, and that means you don't have to be accredited. But yeah, tons of people will jump all over $100,000 investors. So no issue there at all. All right, how do we structure a GP split? Annette, I will tell you, that is a complex answer that we've got a whole spreadsheet that we use, and we sometimes spend an hour teaching that on one of our coaching calls. But I will tell you that it's carved up a number of ways. Certainly, whoever's bringing the deal to the partnership gets a piece. The equity raisers get a piece. Now, the equity raisers also have to play an active role in the syndication. They can't just raise equity. Whoever is using putting up the at-risk capital, the earnest money, the third-party reports, for the finance charges, the due diligence costs can get a piece. Whoever's using their their balance sheet or their balance sheet, their resume rather, to show liquidity and net worth, can get a piece. Whoever's doing the asset management usually gets a big piece. Now, I will tell you, if you find a great deal, what we typically do is we'll get whoever sends us a deal 5% in the GP. So if you find a great deal, you can certainly send them to us. Now, we don't buy anything under 100 doors right now, but Annette, listen, I will get into that a little more on my 2-day boot camp. So, that's just to put in a shameless plug. That's coming up October 17th and 18th. And guys, it's 2 full days of me training, and I'm not selling a damn thing. It's 16 hours of training. I'm not selling anything. And if you DM me, I'll give you a code so you can come for $97. So don't hesitate to do that. But we'll go deeper on that there, Annette. Okay, Jeffrey. Do I think B and C class multifamily will hold up in the correction? I can tell you, I was just reading an article in Business Week today by an economist that, the people that are getting hurt are the people, in the lower income brackets. It's staggering how much more they're getting hurt than high income earners. And so, I would say there are more of those in the C assets. I will tell you, Jeffrey, that when that Cincinnati asset I was just talking about that I purchased, I literally looked at where every single tenant, all 282 tenants, worked to gauge the impact of COVID on those particular employers. And I was okay with it. I saw a little more Delta Airlines that I would have liked, because Delta's, all the airlines are in trouble right now. But, I think definitely B will hold up better than C, but C should hold up okay as well. Yield maintenance. Yeah, there you go, Ron. Thank you. Okay, I have approximately $60,000 in equity, and this is Frederick, in a current rental that was previously a primary residence. Okay, what is the best course of action for next rental purchase? Should I cash out and just lower my rate? Buddy, that is a really personal question, my friend. I mean, I don't know your financial situation. I don't know if you want to invest in other properties. I will tell you, I believe a crash is coming, but I've been wrong before. My kids have no problem reminding me of that, but I will tell you, I think a crash is coming, and in a crisis, cash is king. So, I don't know if that helps, but very subjective question I want to be careful with. Okay, Chase, they offered me 3.545 on a 7-year ARM, 3.25 on a 5. Do not do a 5-year ARM right now, buddy. I'm sorry, don't do any. I'm sorry, the ARM is okay, but don't do any 5-year debt. Do at least 7-year debt right now, because if this slowdown happens to be prolonged, let me give you the definition of a bad day. You've got an asset that's cash flowing well, and it's a nice asset, but the cap rates go up, and you can't refinance because the values aren't there. That's a bad day. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's see, Frederick, increased cash flow, HELOC or cash out refi. Again, very subjective, my friend. I don't know your personal situation. I don't want to, I'm all about getting in cash right now. I will just tell you that. Okay. What are some typical questions you ask an insurance broker when you're shopping for coverage? And what are some issues you've had with insurance brokers in the past? Well, I use national brokers that write insurance nationally. And there's replacement coverage. There's actual cash value coverage. We always go with replacement. And just to tell you, we had a 101 unit asset in Beaver Creek, Ohio, got completely destroyed by a tornado, and we would have gotten screwed if we didn't have the right coverages there. And I'm not going to proclaim to be an expert on insurance clauses and coverages, but I will tell you that I'm typically overinsured just because of situations like that. Okay, what's my thought on efficiencies versus 1 and 2 bedrooms? I will tell you, a big factor, Eric, with smaller units is size. If those efficiencies are small or those 1 bedrooms are small, you're going to have a lot of turnover. I've had, I remember a 22 unit in Fort Myers that was really small 1 bedrooms. I mean, they frankly should have been efficiencies, and the turnover was just crazy. And so, very, very important that you keep that in mind. I won't buy 1 bedrooms unless they're larger. I don't love efficiencies. I just don't, but that's a personal preference, honestly. I will tell you the typical unit mix that I like to see in an apartment complex is half the number of 1 bedrooms as there are 2 bedrooms. But that said, you've got to really pay attention to the demographics, because we've got an asset in Dallas. It's I think, 216 doors. And we're ramping the rent's on that $250, and it should be about an $8 to $10 million increase in value, and it's all one bedrooms or primarily one bedrooms. Normally, that would be a real red flag for me, but it's perfect for that demographic, and it's always 100% occupied. I mean, it's just a phenomenal home run for us. So I love that one. Paolillo, I recognize that name. What's up, brother? I'm not sure is that a question? Cost seg? Yeah, we love cost seg. You guys know what cost segregation is? If you don't, you need to, because it has saved me a boatload of money. Mark happens to be my CPA here in Venice, Florida, and saved us a ton of money on real estate. And so, cost segregation is where, most properties are depreciated over a 20-year straight line depreciation. Cost segregation allows you to accelerate that depreciation. And what you do is how you do that is you break up all the individual components in the property. You're looking at the light fixtures, the flooring, the countertops, the windows, the doors, every piece of it. And an engineer will look at its remaining life, and you can massively accelerate the depreciation and the write-offs. And there's actually bonus depreciation now where you can go back a few years. It's fantastic. So thanks for bringing that up, brother. Matt Rich. Hey, Matt, what's up, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. Okay, well, I got no questions here, guys. Don't tell, you got nothing? Oh, I did have one here that I kind of put off because it really wasn't multifamily related. Saqib asked how to improve your body. I'm flattered that you would ask me that question. But probably should pull Tiffy in here and ask her. She's a freaking rock star on a hard body. But, buddy, it's common sense, man. It's with your body and your health. It's not, do you know what to do? It's, do you do what you know? And that is, you don't eat crap, you drink a lot of water, you exercise every day or at least 5 days a week. And, that's it. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to do this, Mike, this multifamily game is a side hustle. You're going to do a side hustle of multifamily, and you've got a family, you've got kids, you've got a full-time job. You better pay attention to your health. And it's not about health. For me, it's about energy, because you got to have a lot of energy. And so, I'm 60 and I got a pretty good amount of energy still, but I exercise a lot. I eat well. I've got, like, right here, I've got my vitamin containers, for all the vitamins. Used to be all over my damn desk, and Tiffy said if I didn't fix it, I was in trouble, so I fixed it. But anyway, so it's taking care of yourself, and because it requires incredible energy to do all that. But again, if you grind for a few years like other people won't, you'll live the rest of your life like most people can't. So it's absolutely worth it, my friends. All right, let's see. What do we look for in a tax strategist that understands real estate benefits? Any recommendations? I've interviewed a couple of them on the show. Tom Wheelwright is one of them, that does that nationally. I would definitely give Mark my recommendation here locally in Florida. Forward-thinking, proactive tax strategy is not as common in most certified public accountants. They're used to looking in the rearview mirror, and it is a great idea to proactively look forward and look for ways to pre-frame and position yourself instead of after the fact. So that is a great question, Marshall. How much per door do you get in Cincinnati? What is the cap rate? Okay, it's first of all, I'm not selling anything in Cincinnati right now, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head on what we paid for that asset. I just don't know off the top of my head, and I don't want to distract myself to look it up again. But I like Cincinnati, and I like Cincinnati because it's pretty much landlocked. And so, I think whenever you see that, that's also in our asset in Lexington, that you can't build, that it's kind of landlocked, that you can't build around it. So, what happens is that drives prices up. And, in Cincinnati, they happen to be building an Amazon airport, just like FedEx has in Memphis. I mean, it's huge. It's, we all know what's happening with Amazon. I mean, it's taken over the world. So, So is multifamily depreciation the same as single family? You know what? Honestly, Mark, can you answer that question? I don't know the answer to that question. If you're still on, Mark, I don't dig into the detail of tax law. And so I'm just not sure, honestly, but I can tell you that you can absolutely cost seg single family, because I did a bunch of it a few years back. And so, if you've got a single family portfolio, you should absolutely cost seg it. It's fantastic. So, Matt, thank you for your kind words, brother. If Congress stimulus money could be directed to the landlord as rent prepayment, would that get the Senate to pass it? I doubt it. because it's the evil landlord syndrome. Tenants would be screaming that, why are you paying landlords? Tenants need to stay in properties. So I would say no to that. What's your answer there, Mark? It is, but less beneficial. I don't understand what you mean by that. So, is multifamily depreciation the same as single family? Is his answer to that. Mark's last name is Paolillo. Anyway, do you have any people do you have people that give you money and can be a percentage owner? Yes, Rosie. Well, that's how this commercial real estate business really works, is that operators will go and find a deal, they'll put it together, and they'll raise equity that's called equity from private investors for their deals. They'll either do joint ventures, which I've done, or they'll do syndications, which is, we're doing a lot of that right now. I'm probably going to be doing more joint ventures in the future. And then yes, you can be a percentage owner depending upon how much money you put in. Rosie, reach out to me privately, and if you want to come to my boot camp, I'll hook you up, sweetheart. Rosie and I went to high school together. Okay. If no other questions, it's really hard for me to describe the GP split without showing you the worksheet. And so it's complex enough that without seeing it, it'll be challenging for you to really grasp it, because the reason it's challenging is because each one of these areas that will get a piece of the deal, the areas I described, whoever brings the deal, the asset management, the at-risk capital, the person puts in the resume, the due diligence, even all of those can have 4 or 5 people in each section of that can have 4 or 5 people in it. Okay. Or 4 or 5 entities in it. So it becomes very complex, unless you put it on a spreadsheet and can see it. So I don't know if that helps. I don't want to try to find the worksheet right now because it'll take too long. Okay, Marshall, seems to be quite a few deals being made these days, even though there are thoughts of a crash. I've got a deal. I've got a deal we're under contract on right now in Augusta. It's a screaming deal, Marshall. And so, I'm super conservative right now. I will tell you that. We're being super conservative and high operating reserves and everything else. Krista, tell us about the different levels of our Warrior program. If you're interested in the Warrior program, come see me for 2 days, for God's sakes, Krista. Spend 2 days with me. You'll learn so much at my boot camp. But if you're interested, go to my rodcleef.com website. There's a place where you can put in an application to interview to join the program, and one of my people will get on there, tell you all about it. And we got things for every budget. Thank you for asking, allowing me to pitch it a little bit, but that's the best way. Just go in there. If you've already been to the boot camp, go there and and they'll call you immediately, or you can text CRUSH to 41411 and that'll kind of do the same thing. Forrest, the best mentor I've had. Thank you, my friend. Very kind of you to say that. If I can get on your busy schedule, let's catch up. Here's a question from a lot of people I meet in tech here out west. I make $230,000. I have low expenses. I want to jump into buying multiple units, build a portfolio, but what do you think is a good place to start? What would you tell these young professionals? Get their butts to my boot camp. Seriously, I'm not selling anything there. I mean, if you want to inquire into my Warrior program, you can, but I don't sell anything. It's 16 hours of training. Multifamilyvirtualbootcamp.com. Please put it in the comments, team, for these guys. Multifamilyvirtualbootcamp.com. And if you DM me, I'll give you a code you can use, and you can come for $97 freaking dollars. I mean, let me show you something. Here's the manual for this thing. It's like drinking through a fire hose, okay? Here's the manual. Plus, you're going to get all kinds of other resources, books, and stuff here that I've got that are incredible. I mean, it's a no-brainer, okay, for $97. And it's not like these things where you got people from all over the country, having an hour and trying to talk about something. This is full-on training. How to find a deal, how to evaluate a deal, how to do the due diligence on a deal, how to raise all the money for a deal, how to finance it, how to syndicate it, how to joint venture it, how to build a team, how to brand yourself. I mean, this is me teaching for 16 hours. It's brutal. It kicks my ass. I used to be able to do it in front of people, and I get the love and the energy and all that. And I've just got my poker-faced photographer and videographer there. But it's fun. Anyway. All right. So that's what I tell them, Forrest. Thank you for your kind words, brother. Okay, Daryl, you're missing the tenant would receive back rent paid and landlords could direct the money. Well, okay, you're right. You're right. Listen, who knows? I just know, if they keep throwing money at this, you want to talk about inflation? We're going to have inflation like nobody's freaking business. If I'm not going to get political, but if Biden throws $4 more trillion at this and that keeps happening, we'll have $100 loaves of bread. So, it's very scary. Now, if you want to get a little more insight with a little more documentation and statistical information, watch my YouTube video on the coming crash of 2021. Again, who knows if I'm right? If I'm wrong, fine. But if I'm right and you prepare for it, it could be the opportunity of a freaking lifetime. And I mean that sincerely. If what happens, what I think happens, there'll be deals at 30, 40, 50 cents on the dollar. Okay, in what form are you seeing a possible crash come from? I'm in Manatee County, and for the tax, yes. Listen, nothing you look at right now makes you think it's coming. I get that. Frederick, rather than me, and buyers are in high demand, single family homes are selling like crazy, people are moving from Florida down here. Frederick, watch my video, okay? And on YouTube. I think it'll give you some clarity. And hang on, I'm scrolling. I'm getting more questions and it's bouncing. You attended the boot camp in May and I didn't get on the GP splits. Okay. Well, listen, I'll tell you what, DM me and I'll send you the spreadsheet and that'll help clarify it. Okay, Annette? Maybe I didn't have time. The only complaint I got out of 1,800 people was my breaks were too short. So, we ran out of time. I pack in so much, and I hope you'll say some nice words. I hope you enjoyed it, but instead of just saying that I didn't cover something. But if you DM me, I'll get it to you. Okay. Hey, Nicholas, what's happening? Oh, thank you. It was awesome. Thank you. Marshall said you participated in July. It was fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Nick, I've rehabbed and flipped about 25 single family houses from 90 to 2000. Did well. Is your second day deal going to be over my head? Yes, it will be. Absolutely over your head. It's a different world, my friend. Nick, my old mover. Oh, that's funny. You moved me into this place. No, it's completely different, brother. And DM me and I'll hook you up, my friend. I'll give you a discount and all that. But anyway, so any more questions, guys? Okay, here we go. Daryl Wild, as you become more conservative, doesn't that mean the sellers are receiving less? Well, when I'm saying I'm becoming more conservative is that I'm not going to buy everything that comes across my desk, buddy. I used to kiss 200 deals before I picked one. It's 300 now. Okay. And so, it looks like I missed some questions. So when I say conservative, if I don't get the return numbers that I want, if I can't, include raising plenty of operating reserves and still get the returns that I want, if I can't get the lower leverage, lower loan to value that I want and still not get the returns, that's what I mean by conservative. I'm not, there's a lot of stuff for sale. We're looking at quite a few properties right now, a ton of them right now. Saeed, how much should you pay for a door in Chicago, buddy? That there's so many nuances to your question. What asset class? What size units? What age units? I mean, every submarket is different. So I couldn't begin to try to answer that question for any market in the country. But what you do is you go on loopnet.com and you see what stuff's listed for, and that will. That will give you an idea. You talk to brokers, you build relationships. Better yet, you come spend a couple days with me and you'll know how to do all of this. And you won't have any confusion around how to figure out how to price things and evaluate things. And you'll have a much greater understanding of the business. Rob. Oh, hey, Rob, what's up, brother? Highly recommend Rob's upcoming boot camp. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes, buyers are still in high demand, like Frederick. I know it doesn't seem like the stuff's about to hit the fan, but brother, I really believe it is. So, who is the first person you should hire in an hourly rate, not partners? Interesting question. I know exactly who it should be, and that should be an assistant. You should not be doing things that you can pay someone else to do. And I mean nothing. Okay. And so, you could do a VA, a virtual assistant. In my course, we teach people how to use a VA. But the point is, and you can, if you've never hired one, go on the Manila Craigslist and look there. You can go on Upwork.com. But the thing to remember with the virtual assistant is that the resume is irrelevant. What you want to do is test them. Send them an easy thing that you test them on, then send them a harder thing that you test them on, and you'll get an idea of their command of English and how much they really know. And then you've got to stay on top of them. You can't just give them something to do. You have to train them. But an assistant is my absolute answer for that, Nicholas. Would you buy land and build multifamily? Absolutely. Absolutely. The rents are high enough. You can absolutely make that work right now, Tom. Great question. Okay, Ed, are we worried about being cash heavy because of inflation? Well, that is the flip. Are we worried about being cash heavy because of inflation while we wait for the right opportunity to purchase? Well, listen, if it crashes that fast, that the cash is damaged that fast, I think we're going to have bigger problems, brother. But I hear you. I hear exactly what you're saying. Should you get in gold or something else? But the bottom line is cash truly is king. Financing dries up. It gets harder to get financing, when things get really tough. Daniel, thank you for your kind words, brother. Thanks for all you do. I can't wait to dive into more deals with you and your team. Thank you, my friend. What is my advice for converting, Daryl, apartments to condos? I would not do that right now by any stretch, because if the market crashes, I can tell you back in 2008 and 9, we came across tons of broken condo conversions that couldn't sell. So you'd have a complex of apartments that had been converted to condos, but only half of them were condos. Freaking train wreck, because you've got HOA fees, but then you've got renters. You want to collect on your HOA fees. Difficult to finance any way, shape, or form a broken condo conversion. So no, the answer is definitely no on that one. Let's see. Is this a good time to wholesale, Marvin? It's always a good time to wholesale. I got 3 students. That's a lie. I've got 2 students and my brother who each made over $100,000 wholesaling an apartment complex. Okay. You absolutely can wholesale anytime. You better believe it. Let's see if I missed anything. If you guys have any, it looks like I'm all out of questions. So if you guys have any, throw them up here. And Annette, don't forget to DM me and I'll get you the GP split worksheet. No worries. And thank you for pre-framing that, because I'll make sure that we either cover it or provide it at this next one. Okay. I got no more questions here. Okay. Let's see. Thanks for all you. Okay. All right. Well, if I've got no more questions, I'll call it a day. Anyway, if you catch this after I went live and you've got a question, DM me, and if you want to come to my boot camp, for God's sakes, it's such a no-brainer, because it's so cheap and I don't sell anything. So, but anyway, Ed, thank you. I look forward to seeing you there as well at the boot camp. Thanks for the kind words, Frederick. And you guys have an awesome freaking weekend. Make sure that you spend time with whoever matters that's most important, because that's truly what life's about. Life's about magic moments. It's not about, killing yourself to make a lot of money. It's not about achieving to be happy. It's about happily achieving. Anyway, guys, be well. Have a great weekend. I'm going to go love on my wife. You guys take care, and we'll see you later.